Next on the news at 10, an arrest has been made in connection with a fatal hit and run in Tuscaloosa. Plus, we will explain why Tuscaloosa city officials are giving parents the green light to send their children to more neighborhoods this Halloween. Richard?
Yeah, Tamika, coming up home team weather, we'll have the very latest on Tropical Storm Sandy. Plus, we'll talk about Tropical Storm Tony that formed down the Atlantic Ocean. The full details in your home team forecast straight ahead, so stick around.
And the nation's leading group of pediatricians are speaking out about the dangers of cheerleading. Hear what they have to say about this popular sport. The news at 10 begins now.
You're watching Alabama's WVUA News at 10.
Good evening, I'm Tamika Alexander. Thanks for joining us. It's 2 weeks until Tuscaloosa County voters head to the polls to vote for the President of the United States. But there are many other races happening besides the race for Commander-in-Chief that voters will elect into office. In tonight's top story, WVUA's Travis Leader takes a look at all the state and local races on the November 2012 ballot.
Every 2 years, Alabamians vote for their congressional representatives up in Washington, but this year you may be voting for someone different. If you live in the northern part of the county, you are now voting for Alabama District 4, which is a race between incumbent Republican Robert Adderholt and Democratic challenger Daniel Bowman. But if you live in some areas of Northport and most areas of Tuscaloosa and Point South, you will be voting in District 7, which is a race between incumbent Democrat Terry Sewell and Republican challenger Don Chamberlain. There are 2 state races to keep an eye on this year. For Chief Justice, Republican Roy Moore is trying to get his old job back, but he will still need to get more votes than Democrat Bob Vance to do so. Also, 2 women are running for Public Service Commission president. Democratic incumbent Lucy Baxley is facing off against current Place 1 Commissioner Twinkle Andress Kavanaugh. Finally, there are 2 Tuscaloosa County races to look for. First, all county voters will vote for probate judge. Democrat Hardy McCollum is running for his 7th term in office, while Tuscaloosa County Sheriff Ted Sexton is attempting to become the county head on the Republican ticket. Also, some eastern Tuscaloosa County voters, such as people that live in Brookwood, Vance, Coling, and Holt, will be voting for their county commissioner. Now, this race is between Democrat Billy Skelton and Republican Jerry Tingle. In Tuscaloosa County, Travis Leader, WVUA News.
Now, voters hit the polls November 6th. If you would like to view a sample ballot for your area, just go to WVUATV.com and click on Numbers and Links. And if you're not registered to vote, you're almost out of time. The deadline is this Friday, October 26th. Registration officials say with it being so close to the deadline, you need to deliver your form in person instead of mailing it. If you're voting by absentee ballot, it must be postmarked the day before the election or hand-delivered by 5 p.m. the day before the election. Now, some University of Alabama organizations are showing off their creativity while donating food for needy families. It's called Canformation. Student organizations took donated cans and created designs in a competition. All the cans used in the designs are going to be donated to the West Alabama Food Bank. The top 3 designs are Pi Phi Alpha Chi and the American Society of Mechanical Engineers. Organizers and participants both enjoyed helping out for a good cause.
I think we had about 9,000 pounds of cans this year, so that all goes towards Feed Auburn Beat Hunger, and it's really great, so we're really happy about it.
All the proceeds from Canformation as well as Feed Auburn Beat Hunger go to the West Alabama Food Bank, which is a local food bank in our community, so it's a really good way to give somebody a helping hand.
Now, there are still lots of activities going on the rest of the week. Homecoming week continues tomorrow with a dodgeball competition. Thursday is the choreography contest at Foster Auditorium. Finally, the lawn and storefronts will be judged on Friday morning, and the night will end with a pep rally and bonfire on the quad. With all the activities going on this week, students are hard at work getting everything ready for Saturday, and they aren't the only ones. Your home team is also prepping for the highly anticipated Homecoming Parade. It's a timeless tradition for Lynn Brooks and the First Lady of Football, Miss Terry Saban, to co-host the parade. So if you can't make it to the capstone, don't worry, because we will be broadcasting live. The parade kicks off at 2. Well, turning now to the weather, let's get a first check on Alabama's home team forecast with Chief Meteorologist Richard Scott. Richard, I tell you, it was a picture-perfect day, just a beautiful day out there today.
Yeah, very nice out there, and a nice fall October day in terms of what we typically see this time of year in October. Temperatures in the 60s now, starting to cool off pretty quickly. Actually, a new update now. Tuscaloosa 58, 57 in Birmingham, 63 down to Linden, Marion. Check in at 60. Temperatures will continue to cool tonight. Look for most spots to bottom off in those low 50s by early tomorrow morning, but another quick rebound going to be likely during the day. So ample sunshine out there today. Tonight we got that clear sky, allowing those temperatures to rapidly cool. But again, with plenty of sun expected tomorrow, we warm up pretty quickly. So here's that start to the day. Our bus stop forecast, 51. And again, a fairly cool start to the day. We're back in the 80s tomorrow afternoon. But what about the latest on the tropical trouble? We now have two tropical storms to talk about. Tropical storm Sandy and Tony. Where will those storms head? Your forecast is straight ahead.
Turning now to tonight's Crime Watch, an update to a story we brought you yesterday. After an outpouring of information from the public, a man is now charged in connection with a hit and run in Tuscaloosa that took a man's life. It happened around 9 o'clock Sunday night on Greensboro Avenue south of the Hargrove Road intersection. 57-year-old Frederick Lee Townsell was killed when he was struck by a vehicle. Police released a picture of the suspect's vehicle, and that's when tips from the public started coming in. The Tuscaloosa Metro Homicide Unit says Christopher Philip Markham turned himself into homicide investigators around 10 o'clock this morning. He's charged with leaving the scene of an accident with injuries. A warning from the Tuscaloosa Police Department about keeping your grass cut. It could cost you more than you think. The Tuscaloosa County Municipal Court issued the homeowner of one house a $736 fine for grass and weeds exceeding 12 inches in height. Now that's the maximum allowed by city code. Police say first the homeowner gets a warning and you may be able to get some additional time granted. According to police, uncut grass can lead to many problems for both the homeowner and their neighbors.
Anytime people quit cutting their grass, property value is going to drop. Once a neighborhood has multiple houses doing this, the crime rates will rise because a criminal looks at it if basically somebody's not taking care of their property, then it's going to be easier to break in the house and nobody will notice or actually care about it.
Well, for more information on how you can volunteer or if you need to assist with getting your grass cut, if you have a home that's been damaged by the tornado, you can always call Community Service Programs of West Alabama. Their number is 205-752-5429. Well, the Academy of Pediatrics is speaking out about safety regulations for cheerleading. WVUA's Emily Forster spoke with a local doctor about the risks associated with this popular sport and how to prevent injuries.
Cheerleading has not always been known as a competitive sport. But over the past 30 years, it has evolved into what some say is a sport with a greater health risk.
I've been practicing 39 years, so I've seen used to run the emergency department, so I've seen the increase in the number of injuries and the severity of the injuries that we've been seeing with them.
Both the increase in tumbling and stunting has caused the health risks to increase. But Dr. Bobo says there could be another reason.
The more we get into this competitiveness of it seems like when they started having cheerleading competitions and you started seeing all that on television, we started seeing it at a younger and younger age. And when these cheerleaders are very young, before they're fully grown and they're still growing, and their strength is not there, the bone structure is not adequate for it, and they're just being put in harm's way. The big deal is the pyramids and building the pyramids and unloading the pyramids and trying to catch them. And then these girls just aren't strong enough to do that.
Dr. Bobo has seen cheerleading injuries as severe as broken necks, concussions, and even a skull fracture. And he says the solution is clear. They
need to ban certain things on this cheerleading because we're seeing injuries which are much more severe than we used to ever see.
Bobo also says being sure the coach of the team is fully qualified can limit the number of injuries for cheerleaders. In Tuscaloosa, Emily Forster, WVUA News.
Well, the American Academy of Pediatrics says cheerleaders should receive on-site athletic trainers, limited practice time, and have better qualified coaches. Well, a fashion show tonight at the University of